Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard because you're right. I wish it would stay the same, but if it is going to do what it's doing, I'm glad it's choosing the weekend to be nice, I guess.
Well, that helps, doesn't it? Yeah, you bet. We can have a nice weekend and do some things outside, maybe.
Yeah, get the finishing touches on the yard, or maybe see if the grill still works. Whatever it takes.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So how you been? I mean, back in session, things are finally, all the. I feel like is your life one big meeting?
It is up here. Yesterday was really crazy. I'll just give you an example. We started out with leadership Elk City class here with me yesterday morning for a while. They came over and visited with them, and they were here all day. We were able to go have to lunch where they visited with Senator Yak and Representative Todd Russ as well, and then they were here for the afternoon when we were in session. One of the things that happens out here is just that a lot of folks in the Capitol for various reasons. Yesterday we had the group called the abolitionists, and they the ones who wanted to abolish any kind of abortion. And so they were up at the Capitol in full force all week this week. They've been in Oklahoma City, and so they're coming by the office. So it's just a busy time of the year when you have the more people in the Capitol, the more crazy it is.
You talk about the abortion. Of course, the House passed a bill through, I believe it was last week, right, where they wanting to punish a doctor, take a doctor's license away if caught performing an abortion.
That was passed out of the House, and it's a much milder version of a bill that's in the Senate called Senate Bill 13. And the abolitionists did not like the bill we passed last week. It wasn't enough for them. They have the Senate Bill 13, which is over in the Senate, and the Senate pro tem has not been willing to hear that bill because it takes really a very strong stance, and people who believe and get totally trying to get rid of abortion, they really want that bill. So it can be kind of crazy up here sometimes. We did pass that bill, and after we talked on the radio last week, we came in and we spent about 3 hours on the floor debating that bill, and it passed pretty much overwhelmingly on party lines. But we did pass the bill. What it does basically is that if a person can lose their license if a doctor can if they perform an abortion for some other reason besides the health of the mother being involved in that. So,
and is that kind of, because I guess that's always the question, with the Supreme Court's ruling back in, I don't know, was it the Roe Wade 70s? I guess it was, and is them saying that it's legal but states can regulate, and I guess we feel, or you feel, this falls under that, is regulatory.
Yes, according to the lawyers, that particular bill probably or could meet the muster of the Supreme Court in Oklahoma. Most of the pro-life bills that we've passed on the floor of the House and out through the governor's office basically have been overturned by the Oklahoma Supreme Court based on Roe versus Wade, which is the decision that was handed down in the 70s, and that pretty much opened up the possibility for abortions. Oklahoma has taken a very strong stand on that, so we have limited abortions in Oklahoma because of some of our laws. But I think we've only got like 10 doctors in the whole state of Oklahoma that actually perform abortions.
Can you help me out a little bit? I've been kind of reading up on different things, and of course, the Democrats in the House came out with released their agenda, I believe, over the week, and I think Representative Perryman kind of said this is supposed to be one of the most beneficial agendas they've ever had for rural Oklahoma. Do you agree with that statement? And kind of what is their agenda really? Does it really mean anything?
Well, they have their side of the issue, and I noticed that one of the elements in that was economic development, promoting economic development for rural Oklahoma, which certainly is something I support. But here's the thing, we only have like 22 Democrats in the House, and so it's sort of hard for them to get much done because of that. And it's just the way it is. For years in Oklahoma, the Democrats were in control and had the majority party here, and they control things. Right now in Oklahoma, we have mostly Republicans in the legislature. So we basically are in charge. They're the conscience of the body, and their job is to help, try to get their point across and slow things down sometimes.
With the Republicans, would you say that they are also, though, their agenda in 2020 is looking to promote, you mentioned the tourism, but a stimulus package for rural Oklahoma?
Well, we certainly are interested in trying to promote rural Oklahoma, and economic development is a big part of that. Our speaker is from Otoka, which is in southeast Oklahoma. He's from the rural area of the state. I'm from the rural area of the state. So, we will be passing a number of pieces of legislation that will help in that area. And so we're excited about that. And, of course, the budget for this year will be coming out, and it's going to be kind of a flat budget, I think, this year because of the economy in Oklahoma sort of leveled off right now. Still not bad, but sales tax revenue's down a little bit, and so is income tax revenue. So that's going to have an ultimately, a negative effect, I think, in the budget going forward.
Did we ever actually do anything or make any changes to? I know we talked. We've talked over several years. Me and you personally have known each other for a while. But we knew the oil field was going to start to slow down. We knew things were going to start to slow down. But we said, hey, what is our plan in place for when it does happen? Was there ever anything specifically, or is it still just the rainy day fund?
Well, no, I think that there have been some things done. It's just very difficult when so much is based on of our economy is based on oil and gas. Oklahoma as a whole has tried to diversify. We've been fortunate at Weatherford that we have the Kodak plant. Now it's Micron, I think is the name of the company, but they expanded in Weatherford. That's a big plus for Weatherford because those jobs are not dependent on the oil and gas industry. Of course, southwestern state, at Weatherford, gives Weatherford a more diversified economy. So we don't see the effects quite as much as maybe like in Elk City, where their economy is more heavily based on oil and gas. And the state of Oklahoma has diversified. Aerospace is a big deal, and the aerospace credits for engineers, and that's promoted and has gotten some growth out at Tinker in the aerospace industry, with Boeing coming in here. And then we have GE here in Oklahoma City. So Oklahoma City, I guess, probably has become a little bit more diversified as well as Tulsa. So that helps a little bit in an effort to try to give Oklahoma a little bit more balanced economy.
State Representative Harold Wright joining us on the phone and just answering some questions of topic as we're entering this is the second week of being in session. Last year of it, it's hard to believe it.
Yeah, I know. What comes to your mind, Vanessa? What do you think about, I know this sometimes people listening, I don't know, we try to get out information, and certainly my office is open.
Well, I heard that we might be having another teacher issue.
In what way?
I heard something about possibly it being a hot topic once again this year, the teacher's salary, and how they might not be as excited. They might not be approving of what's set aside for them in the budget or something. I just heard that. I didn't look it up, but I thought, oh man.
I think most of the teachers in Oklahoma are pretty happy right now. I'm sure. I know the teachers union is always working to get more money for teachers because that's their job and to do that. And certainly teachers are still very important to my area and to the district because education is over half the budget. You think about that, man. So if you have a budget shortfall in revenue, then guess who gets hurt the most?
Oh,
education.
Yeah.
Because it's the biggest chunk of the pie,
Well, that's what we talk about. I mean, I always make the joke that, man, when my kids get out of daycare, I'm going to have a lot of nice things. Literally, education and prison systems that's what, 3/4, if not, of our budget?
What's that?
Education, and then also the prison system, the jails.
Yeah, well, education with higher ed and common education grades, kindergarten through 12th grade, that's 53% of the budget. And so that's a big hunk. And then if you put the next largest right now is frankly the Medicare Health Authority, which has the Medicaid element, is the second largest entity now. And then you have corrections is in there, but healthcare has become a big issue and a bigger part of the budget than ever before. So there's just a lot going in there to try to come up with a plan that everybody can live with, because we have what we call a balanced budget law in Oklahoma. You can't spend more money than you have coming in. And I wish the federal government had that law, to be quite honest, because deficit spending is at highest rates ever been.
Has anyone been talking about the coronavirus?
I haven't heard anybody really say too much about it. It's not a big problem here, fortunately, in Oklahoma, and particularly even in the United States. But I'll tell you, it's kind of scary, isn't it? I mean, if that virus can get, they're doing the the group out of Atlanta. What's the name of the group, John?
Atlanta
CD,
group. The CDC.
The CDC?
Yeah. What is that?
Center for
CDC?
Disease Control?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you come back
This is
from
the first time in like 50 years or something like that they, or 20, I don't know, that they've actually had a quarantine like this.
No, this is a big deal. Yeah.
It really is. It's scary. And if they don't stop it, if it comes in, by accident, then it doesn't take long to spread, unfortunately. And they're trying to prevent that. And I think the longer they can wait it out without having a major issue in the United States, then we'll maybe get a pass on the deal. I hope.
Yeah.
Well, it's really interesting just finding out about if you come back from China, even if you don't have any symptoms, you're not allowed to be out. Like you'll be monitored, and you're not allowed to go to places where there are a lot of people, like work or school or
Right.
the health facilities, those kind of things. So,
I do know the flu, type A flu is going around, and a lot of people, don't fully understand this, but in the winter when it's cold, the flu virus lives longer on doorknobs and out and around, and so that's why people have a tendency to get the flu in the winter instead of the summer, because in the summer those virus germs are actually are killed in the heat, but when it's cold they survive, and so that's why flu is worse in the colder weather.
well, and you're having to shake a lot of hands too, right?
Yeah, and I try to, I do, and I've learned over the years being here that you wash your hands a lot and put on that antibacterial medication and stuff that you put on your hands, and that helps, I think.
It's better than nothing for sure. Hot soapy water. Well,
Yeah, there you go.
Is there a topic or something that we didn't ask you about that you wanted to make sure and mention?
Well, I think we've still got a long ways to go this year. We've still got the budget to go through, and I've got several bills out there. We can talk more about that later, but that's going to probably wrap things up for this week. If you have a question or you need some information, call me here at the Capitol, 405. I'm sorry, giving you the radio station number. That you can call me there too. But anyway, the number at the Capitol is 405-557-7325. I am getting the calls. There's a bill out right now that out there that we'll be voting on. It's House Bill 1192, which would give cities and jurisdictions the potential to pass a ad valorem tax district for police and fire. And I'm getting a lot of calls both from the police and city governments around my area wanting me to support that. And I'm getting calls from farmers and ranchers that want me to vote against it because potentially it could raise property tax. So that's kind of a controversial bill that's out there right now that we'll be voting on probably in the next week or so.
All right. Well, State Representative Harold Wright, thanks for visiting with us, and every Thursday while you're in session.
Bet. All right. Happy Valentine's Day to all of you.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Conversation Corner is brought to us by Lucille's Roadhouse, and they're celebrating Valentine's as well. Go and see how it ties in with the ASAP refill mugs, too, so you can get a free steak dinner tomorrow night.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Your home for fresh country hits and Coyote Country classics. We are KWEY-FM, Clinton, Weatherford, Elk City. KWEY.
She looks so pretty when the makeup on. You should hear her talking to her mama on the phone. I love it when she raps to an Eminem song. That's my girl.